one key word that came to mind was identity. What is our identity in? And I'm going to throw another question out, but for a lot of us as moms, since we're all moms on here, I believe we put our identity in our spouse. We put our identity in motherhood, having kids. But just like in Lady L's situation, if that's gone tomorrow, are you still whole? Do you have an identity? So I want to talk about that. It's not on our list. I told y'all I might go a totally different way, but I think it's very important to talk about identity, because if you're not whole and you don't know who you are, pairing up with somebody else who he might not know who he is, and then 2 years, if you make it 2 years, we know the statistics, right? Y'all can't make it. There were two broken people who don't even know who they are and where they're going. How can a house divided stand, right? So I want to just quickly throw out the question in regards to identity. Why is it important to have a personal identity, just your personal opinion, before going into a marriage?
So I kind of want to chime in on that one. It's a few reasons. One, you have to have a standard, a bar by which things are set by. You have to know what you like and what you don't like, and what you want to deal with and what you don't want to deal with, and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Otherwise, I had a girlfriend who went was dating someone, and she wanted to like him so bad and wanted him to like her so bad that when they were out to dinner, no, he had cooked her dinner and he had made her steak, and she didn't eat steak, but because he cooked it, she ate it and tasted it and made herself sick because she wanted him to like her so bad. And that's not honoring yourself. That's not being true to yourself. So you have to know enough about yourself to say, that's great that you did that for me. I'm sorry, I don't eat that. That doesn't work for me. But if you don't know yourself well enough, and if you're not confident enough in yourself, then you'll lose yourself. You'll
Yeah.
spend yourself following into the mold that someone else made. And just like you said, when those kids grow up and they leave the house, and when you have some time by yourself, you don't know who you are. You don't know what you like. You're so busy pleasing everyone else. So it's very important to know what you like so you can bring that into the relationship that you're going into. Again, I got married very young. I didn't know who I was. My husband didn't know who he was. And so we both were just doing anything really, and we figured out more of what we don't like than what we did like. So you do want to spend some time, taste some things, test some things. I say I have a daughter who's in college now, and I think college is a perfect time to go away and learn what you like, because growing up, you've been eating what your mother told you ate for dinner. You've been wearing what they told you like to wear. Until you can figure out what you like, what works for you, what makes you feel good or feel bad. You need to have all of those things in order to be a partner in a relationship.
Partnership. That's good, Josh. That's real good. Anybody else?
I think that identity piece is so key that if we don't take time, man or woman, um, to understand and know who we are, that gives room for people to pry in and manipulate and try to put their purpose, whatever they want on you, and so I believe I talked a little bit about in my part of the book. This experience is a whole nother, that could be a whole nother session. But in ministry, we were going through, my husband and I, a shift in our former ministry. And there were just some things that, because we were so caught up, like for example, in this situation, caught up in what we were doing. It was just church, 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 church. But he played football. He was a coach. That's something that he desired to do, but he gave that up all for the sake of somebody else's, what somebody else has wanted him to do. I'm a singer, and yes, gospel and all of that, but I have genres. I mean, music is just in my fibers. And so when you're telling me to shut this down, man, but that is a part of who I am. And so I believe that even in that experience, we learned, and what we teach even in our church, New Direction Grace, we talk about um, respecting each other's purpose, not robbing people of their purpose. We can, just like what Latasha said, and that's why it's so important, even as mothers, as parents, when you see a gift or a skill that your child has, you want to nurture that. Okay, my son, my 6-year-old, he's intel, right? He can pick it up. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put him in different things so that will not only curate but expose. But I'm not going to put him in my mind like, okay, oh, I'm going to use him in the ministry. He may be called out to do some secular performances because there's a whole nother people that may need to be touched or talked to and ministered to. And so it's so important that and my 19-year-old daughter, I call her queen in training, and she's real headstrong and she knows what she wants, but I have to tell her, look, really be careful on who you attract. And in understanding who you are, when we understand who we are and comfortable in who we are and how we are made, and with all of our flaws and everything, when we get to that place of embracing our identity, our purpose, people are not going to look. I can discern when somebody's manipulating. I can discern when somebody's just out like, okay, I see what you're about, right? And so we know, and we're easy, and it's okay to be like, no, I don't want that steak because I don't eat steak. I like chicken or I like fish. And if somebody doesn't like that, then okay, I love peace, but I'm not about to shut me down to please you.
Right. That's good. That's good. Thank you for sharing. And identity is definitely I would say one of the main pieces of the foundation that before we get married, we need to really finesse. I want to read something in the book and then we're going to open up with final remarks here. This is part of Lady Mo's. She said, God created our husbands. And again, all of these chapters are really good. This kind of spoke out in regards to the voice. The voice is we as women. And I think identity is one piece, but how we communicate. And I wanted to have a whole conversation about communication, but we ain't gonna have time tonight. So I'm just gonna read this and then we'll kind of wrap up with a few things. God created our husbands. He knows their weaknesses, flaws, insecurities, and shortcomings. As wives, we must love and cover our husbands. As the queen, you are in position to safeguard the king's most prized possession, his heart. I thought that was so good. Men don't easily and readily open up their hearts to everyone, ladies. When a man has made a decision to open his heart to a woman and makes her his wife, she has access to not only his secrets, but his successes. I thought that was really, really good. So